Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Mac. So let's talk about it. Wow, I hate to have to come back on here under these circumstances and say that I was right under these circumstances. Um, Rest in peace to Money Gang Avante. This is a young, they label him a drill rapper out of LA. Um, and he was just gunned down in a very brutal and vicious attack. I just saw the video, and it was very horrible. Now, the reports going out is saying that these guys were robbing him for his chain. He was in town to do a show, and he went into this place, and the guys came in, and like I said, I watched the video, and it seemed to me that it was more than just a robbery. Because if you're going to rob somebody, you come in, you draw down on them, you got the ups on them, you take their chain, you go on about your business. But these guys came in, they beat this guy, and it was a few dudes. They was beating on this dude, and then whenever they had snatched the chain, and the one guy who was on top of him cleared out of the way, the other guy, you couldn't hear any of the audio, so I'm assuming somebody was like, move out of the way, move out of the way, letting his friends know that he was about to shoot him. And then he started to shoot the dude, and he shot multiple times. And it was just very brutal. It was very personal, and it seemed like it was just fueled by more than just, oh, I want his chain. um I just did a video earlier, and I was saying how probably we'll hear about the death of some other rapper before Monday morning, and it's sad to get back on here in such a short amount of time and have to bring this news to the people. These young men are dying at such a rapid rate that we really can throw any prediction out there, and we might just get a hit, just because of the rapid rate that these young men are dying. And somebody, I was talking about another topic. I was talking about comedy and how I noticed there was an attack on black comedians. A lot of the vitriol and venom was going towards black comedian, and somebody asked me the question, why do black people always have to make it a race thing? And my response to that was, because trauma breeds paranoia. Trauma breeds alertness. Trauma breeds all of these different things. Whenever you've been through such something so traumatic, it's going to cause a certain reaction and certain behaviors in you and certain triggers. And when these things are triggered, you're going to react. And you know that applies in this situation as well, because every time we hear something about rap, anytime I hear something, when I hear the word rap, I instantly start thinking about who's died, as opposed to who's got a song coming out, what good music is going to be presented to the people now. That's not what rap is associated with. And so I feel like there's this underlying agenda to make rap synonymous with death. What's up, bro? You said the devil came to collect all the low vibration artists for 2022. Hey, I agree with you on that, man. This is something that has come up in conversation before, and we were alluding to the fact that there's a lot of people who are going to have to lose their lives in this movement. And what movement am I speaking of? Well, this gang culture that was introduced into the music industry. Now, just hear me out on this. This might be a stretch, but if you've got gangs who are running the city, and they're pretty covert about how they move and stuff like that, What is a good way to get them out in the open and talking about their crimes and the things that they're doing? Give them free reign to do so, or what they can imagine as free reign. Give them an illusion of freedom, an illusion of being um above the law, and you can get them caught up in all types of things. And so when you take these gang members and you fund their gang activity by supporting their music and distributing their music like the large record corporations are doing, then now you're giving them a larger platform and they have no other choice but to be seen. And them being seen is not only seen by fans and admirers, that means also law enforcement. And so they get a better grasp and they get also more access to these criminals who are being made into stars. And so now you have these guys who are putting themselves out there because this is necessary in order for you to stay relevant in the rap game. You can't just come out and drop something and then duck back in if you haven't built up that type of foundation as far as your listeners and stuff like that, your fans. So these guys have to. What's going on, Reverend Tony? Man, good to see you, bro. So what's going on is these guys have to remain relevant on the scene. So that means they have to be seen. They have to be on all these different social media platforms, and they have to put out some content that's going to keep their fans engaged. And so they're going to start talking about the stuff that they do in the streets naturally, because that's what their whole image and their whole money maker is, their image in the streets and what they're portraying about themselves in the streets. And so they have no other choice but to get themselves caught up in a RICO case if they want to stay relevant in rap and continue to make their rap money. See, these things go hand in hand. The law enforcement, the prison industrial complex, and the rap industry. They found a way to weave them all together the same way they've woven the school system into the prison industrial complex. And so now you see a lot of these rappers, you come out and you become a rapper from the streets at your own detriment now. You come into this rap game and you try to solidify yourself as being real at your own detriment, because if there are any open cases that are tied to you and you get on wax and you start trying to spit about these different life experiences, best believe they're going to take you down. They're using that as a weapon to take you down. So now rap music has been weaponized against the people. We call this culture. And so that's why they allowed Daniel Hernandez, aka Takashi 6ix9ine, to become a snitch. That's why they allow Whack 100 to get on the air, get on these platforms and defend snitches. This is why all of this snitch stuff came out, because they knew that they were going to have to justify these rappers who were snitching on people and doing all of these things that go against the code of the streets, so that the people who follow them and support their music and give them that power and that influence will feel appeased and feel like they're justified in doing these rat things that are taking place in the music industry. We see Jay Prince and Whack 100 going at it right now, and Whack 100 is putting all of the focus on people's paperwork and who's been snitching and things like that. But the whole topic of the conversation and the whole offense that Jay Prince Jr. is addressing with Whack 100, along with Larry Hoover Jr., is the fact that Whack 100 is holding on to a videotape, a documentary about Larry Hoover and his positive influences that could weigh heavily on him being released from prison so that he can spend some time with his family in his old age and his last days. But WAC 100 is trying to extort the family for money in order to get that tape so that they can add it to his packet for release. And WAC wants to turn it into, oh, well, this person is a snitch and that person is a snitch, so that he can continue to reinforce this mindset and this mentality that goes against the code of the streets of snitching. And these guys they're the ones who are losing. They losing because don't nobody want to snitch on who killing these rappers. So if you have people who are not willing to say nothing, um, then these rappers are being killed at will. And it's like hunting season on rappers right now. They out here, and these other guys who are murdering don't see no value in life, so they don't see no harm in taking the life of somebody who is of value, who is becoming of value. They see no value other than the shiny trinkets and the clothes. They don't see no value in life. That's crazy that you see more value in inanimate objects than you see in an actual human being. So where does this mindset come from? Who's teaching this to these children? That's a question that we have to ask ourselves, because most parents are not going around teaching their children that murder and coveting somebody else's property is the way that you live life. Your average parent is not teaching that, but we do have a large number of parents who are not teaching against it and who are not addressing it at all and avoiding those type of topics with their children. And so it's left open to interpretation to the child, and that's never a good thing. So when we leave things open to interpretation with our children, we can't really get angry that they go out and they make mistakes and they make wrong decisions because they weren't given proper information to be able to deal with that type of situation in the first place. And you end up with situations like this. This young man was brutally gunned down for the world to see, and his father had to see this. His family had to see this. Anybody that knew him that was associated with this man, anybody that this young man inspired ever in his life, had to see him go out like this. And this is the sum total of his life. This is what he's going to be remembered as, that guy who was brutally gunned down for no reason. Now, what we see is no reason. We don't really know, because the whole story hasn't unfolded yet. So there's still some layers that have to be peeled back on this situation. But, whenever it comes down to it, man, the bottom line is this: until they understand the value of life and how precious life is and how valuable they are individually and collectively as a nation of people, then they're going to continue to be able to snuff out life that easy. It's easy for me to go outside and step on an ant because I don't see the value in that ant and how he is very instrumental to this life cycle. But once it's shown to me how important an ant is to the life cycle, and if we didn't have any ants, how it would destroy the whole cycle of the things that we're going through, what we call life, then, I'll continue to step on ants with no regard. And that's the type of syndrome that these people are in. I refer to it personally to myself as the ant syndrome, because that's basically what they're doing. They see no importance in the life of anybody and in the life of any person that looks like them. And so they have no problem in taking out that life. So my question is this, because like I said, watching the video, there was a man behind the counter who worked in the store. a white gentleman, and I'm asking the question: why did they see regard for his life? Why did they feel like he deserved to live, and the young man that looked just like them did not deserve to live? That's another question that I have about these dudes, because they will go out with absolutely no problem and kill somebody who's in the same situation as them and look like them. But anybody outside of that, they have a respect for their life. So, what's making young black men see no value in their life and other young black men who look just like them? What makes them hate themselves so much that they're trying to eliminate everybody who look like them and act like them? Is there that much self-hatred within our young children? And if it is, we as parents really have to look at it, man. We really have to talk to our children and see if they have an understanding of who we are as a people, because I feel like that's where a lot of their hatred towards their own kind comes from, is not seeing themselves in no type of positive light. And they see success, and they see striving for better, and they see making good decisions as something out of reach and out of touch for them. Why is it so far-fetched that this little boy growing up in the hood can one day become a doctor? Why does that seem like such a far stretch? But he puts way more faith into being able to get into the NBA or the NFL or becoming a rapper, which is also a very long stretch. But they have way more faith in one of those avenues, and they notice that they're all in the entertainment industry, but he has absolutely no faith that he can go out into the corporate world, that he can go out into different lanes and thrive and excel. Where did that seed get planted in their mind? Where did it come from? Excuse me, y'all. These are the things that we have to investigate, because once we understand where that seed was planted, now we know how to cultivate that plant. We know how to prune that plant and clip off these little clippings that don't need to be on there. We know how to do those things. It's kind of like a bonsai plant. That's one thing about a bonsai plant, is that if you take care of it and you trim it and you prune it and trim off the little pieces that don't need to be there and direct its path, you're going to end up with something beautiful and something alive that you help to mold and shape and cultivate. It's the same scenarios, the same analogy with our children that's out here lost in this world. They don't know who they are, man, and so they can't put no value in nothing. So let's give them something to value, man. That's just what it is. And I'm not saying that we have to build an organization to with t-shirts and hats to go around and make a difference in the neighborhood, but because we come across different scenarios just in life while we're out and about in the world, and there are times when God will bring situations to pass to where we have opportunities to impart something in somebody, and we don't know that word is going to stick with them, and we don't know that it's going to manifest something good in that person. All we know is that it was in our heart to speak that to that person in that moment. So just follow your heart and continue to do that and speak real things in real time, and you may not even be around to see the manifestation of the seed that you planted, but just know that it's happening. It's manifesting somewhere in that person's life, or maybe somebody that they pass it on to. It's manifested. And this is what we do. This is what we have to do. I'm going to do it on my end. Every opportunity that is given to me to be able to impart something good into somebody that's going to be able to help, then that's what I'm going to do. because these grand gestures, the things of old that we used to do to try to get the attention and to get people to take serious our grievances, these are not working anymore. These are no longer feasible to get the point across and to get the results that we want. And so we have to look at these new avenues, and we have to do things on our own and quit looking to others to jumpstart the movement. Get the movement going where you are and let other people follow suit, or just keep on doing your own thing, because every person that you touch is going to indirectly affect somebody else's life. And this is how we make change. Everything is not going to be seen by everybody, and we shouldn't be doing it for it to be seen by everybody. Just know that the work is being done. That's what I take comfort in, knowing that there's some soldiers out here that's putting in the work, and they don't have to throw up a camera and say, "Ooh, see me do this," every time that they bless somebody or be a blessing to somebody. We got people out here that's on that. And so I take comfort in that, and I'm going to continue to operate in that myself. You said you a few minutes behind, but realize there's a lot of self-hate in our community. Absolutely a lot of self-hate in our community, man. And that's one of the biggest things that we have to combat, is that self-hate. So how do we begin to paint our picture in a good light to our children? How do we begin to expose our children to black people that make them say, I want to help somebody like that. I want to make somebody feel better like that. I want to inspire somebody like that. We have to start exposing them to these positive images. We have to start exposing them to a much more a much more progressive image, as opposed to a destructive image that we often see highlighted and associated with our people. Because like I stated earlier, whenever I hear the word rap or rapper, I instantly start thinking of death. That's what rap has become synonymous with now. And we have to change that if we're going to continue to allow our children to indulge in the hip hop culture. Because the hip hop culture right now is causing them to lose their life. And so we're going to have to do one or two things. We're going to have to change the narrative in hip hop, or we're going to have to keep our children away from hip hop, because now it's become a weapon. It's just like putting a gun in your child's hand, especially if they buy into all of the false personas that these rappers are out here living. So keep your children informed on everything that's taking place in this world. Don't leave things open to interpretation to your young child, because whatever interpretation they come back with, then that's going to be the truth to them, and they're going to walk within that truth that they've interpreted. So that's on you. That's all on you as a parent, guardian, or just somebody who noticed this kid around in the hood going down the wrong path. That's on you. Um, Rest in peace to this young man, man. And I hope I don't have to say this again before Monday morning. I hope I don't have to come back on here again later today or tomorrow and say another rest in peace. But unfortunately, in this time that we're living in, and the way that the rap community has become synonymous with murder, it's more than likely that I may just be on here again. It's I mean, that it is what it is, y'all. No other genre is going through this type of toxicity and this type of hazard. You don't see country artists out here wearing bulletproof vests. You don't see the excuse me, you don't see the alternative rock or even the hard rock and roll people out here having to implement the same safeguards as rappers are. If you become a rapper, you have to go out and get a life insurance policy. That's one of your main top priorities now as a rapper, especially if you're going to be in the genre of drill. So if that's the route you want to go and you're going to encompass that whole entire movement, then you're going to have to accept everything that comes with that movement. That means the bullets, that means the funerals, that means the mamas crying, everything that comes along with it. And this is what these guys are choosing. Somebody said, when did drill become a movement? It became a movement whenever it came out of Chicago and started getting the notoriety of the FBI. That's when it became a movement. Whenever it started moving and spread into other states and causing an influx in murders in these different states, a very significant rise in murders in these different states that this style of rap goes to. That's when drill rap became its own genre, because not all rap is causing that type of effect. You don't hear people listening to Chance the Rapper and then going out and committing murders, because Chance is talking about he loved his wife. And if I'm not mistaken, y'all been trying to clown on that brother because he talk about loving his wife. And he from that same city. He's from Chicago as well. And so there are different genres of music that brings a different type of energy with it. So if you choose to go into a genre of music where the energy is death, then you get what you ask for. That is what it is, man. And so, I hate to have to say it in that manner, but the truth hurts. The truth hurts these mothers. The truth hurts these little kids who are left without their daddies, who were actually good dads in their lives, because that old statistic of dads not being there for their children is outdated. And there are a lot of people out here who are trying to be good dads and trying to be active in their children's lives. But let me say this as a caveat to that. You can't be a gangster out here in these streets and be revered as being a killer and a shooter and try to be a family man as well, because your family is always going to be in constant danger because of your actions out here in the streets. And if you move in a certain way and people can't get to you, they're going to get to the closest people to you. And so you can't be a killer and a family man. And so we're stuck in this vicious cycle of brothers who want to be there in their children's lives, but they have this other life that they live in out here because of the affiliations that they have, and they can't separate the two. They both will always collide at some point, and it's going to cause damage, no matter how you put it. So, we just going to keep it breezy, y'all. We're just going to keep it breezy. These dudes are going to continue to murder each other. Rap is going to continue to be made synonymous with murder if we don't change the narrative. It's up to us. We can't look to, why would we look to the people who are making the most money off of it and who stands to gain the most of it? Why are we looking to them to kill their revenue? That doesn't make any sense at all. We're talking about, the record labels need to do this, and what's the dude name? Whoever the big Jewish guy is over a lot of the black music. We're looking to these guys to make a change, but these are the guys who are fueling this stuff because they see the money in it. They see the back end where they're going to reap all of the benefits off of these dead artists. So why would they do anything to disturb their money? We're looking to the wrong people for the answers. We're never going to get an answer from those people. So we have to look within ourselves, man, and do what we know to do until those people have no other choice to recognize that we no longer are going to stand for that. And that's where that is. So, that's all I really have to say about that. And I invite anybody to come in and leave your opinion. I appreciate all you brothers for coming in and joining me today and leaving your feedback and giving your points of view. It's always respected and welcomed on this channel. And yeah, man, let's start to give our children an identity and something for them to be proud of so that they can see the value in a black life. Yeah, this is your boy D Mac, man. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.